looking at you, kid.
I'm Charles Foster Kane!
Hey, Stella!
Suck on this.
What is happening, everybody? James Hancock here. Welcome to what I hope will be the first in a series of videos where I invite my friends and collaborators to battle to the death in a game of trivia. And the topic at hand today is the fantasy genre. And to mark this occasion, I've invited 5 individuals with whom I've been playing tabletop RPGs for nearly 5 years. We got Victor Rodriguez, Adam Rakoff, Martin Kessler, Dan Poland, and the mighty Moose Matson. And the rules are simple. Answer a question correctly to score a point, or answer incorrectly and lose a point, or you can choose to pass, and that question will go on down the line, and you can let someone else get it wrong. But once the question's been answered, it's gone, and we're moving on through the original rotation. In any case, the categories on deck for today are Conan the Barbarian, the Nintendo Entertainment System, Dungeons & Dragons, Is It Fantasy or Porn?, Know Your Noldor, and if time permits, I have a few more bonus rounds just in case. But before we get to the first question, I'm going to give everyone a chance to introduce themselves, and let's start with the mighty Adam Rakoff.
Oh, yes, that's me, mighty. Yes, hello.
Everybody's mighty.
Tonight, I'm usually not very mighty. Yeah, Adam Rakoff here, excited to play. Not sure how well I'm going to do.
We shall see, as in all things. Like in D&D, you can't win or lose. All you can do is just play the game and just hope for a great experience. But Moose, tell people about who you are and what you're working on.
In the rehearsals, you said nothing about introducing ourselves.
Exactly.
Anything
going on in Savage Realms?
Oh, yes. There's always something going on in the Savage Realms.
Fantastic. Well, I will leave a link down in the description below. Mr. Kessler, who the hell are you?
I'm Martin Kessler, and I'll have my revenge and Deathstalker who? Yeah, that's me.
All right, fair enough. Mr. Poland?
I am Dan Pullen. I am here to lose. I'm the co-host of the Movies from Hell podcast.
Fantastic. And Mr. Rodriguez?
Hey, Victor Rodriguez. I'm a talent manager by day and a writer by night. Two of my clients, Dave and Shannon, just finished a excellent horror script that we're starting to shop around.
Nice.
So that's what's been occupying my hours. And for anybody that hasn't read my first collection, it's called The Sound of Fear. It's available on Amazon.
When are we going to get The Sound of Fear Volume 2?
That's a good question. I have been working on it. I've got a few stories and a few more to go.
Do you ever use Call of Cthulhu as like jumping off point, or like a way to experiment before crafting a story?
As a way to experiment, you mean like
kind of like workshop a story by like playing it as a scenario? Like I know with the guys who wrote the books that became the show The Expanse, they created an RPG first, and they played it with their friends and family and spouses, and then slowly started fleshing out the books.
I have not ever tried that. I happen to think that games make good games, and short stories and novels make good short stories and novels.
Fair.
But anybody who's gamed with me long enough, you might find a few character names in my work. That's about it.
Yeah, I've always try to remind myself as the dungeon master for this group, I'm not a storyteller. I'm a referee. I let y'all tell the story, and I just try to run the scenarios. But enough jibber jabbering on our end. The first topic, I think, in theory, is going to be the easiest, and this is a fantasy game show. So we're gonna start with what I think might be the best fantasy movie ever made, or at least the best fantasy movie that I've ever seen. Certainly the one that I've seen the most. And the contest is easy. I'm going to play you a clip, and all you have to do is tell me what line comes next. And I also have clips prepared to show you the actual delivery, but due to copyright, one answer, you'll just have to take it as a matter of faith that I know the correct answer. Otherwise, I do have certain clips that I can show, but some of them I had to break up. Anyway, copyright rules are very strange when it comes to Universal and their material. But Adam, are you ready to rip the Band-Aid off and test your knowledge of Conan dialogue?
Let's go for it.
All right, here is the first clip.
Wrong! Conan, what is best in life?
I'm like drawing an absolute blank right now. So.
Do you wish to pass,
Yeah.
or do you wish to answer incorrectly?
Yeah. I can't. It's just hard going first. So I'm going to pass. I'm going to let somebody else have a chance.
Mr. Moose, if there were ever a question that were tailor-made for your specific tastes and preferences, what is the answer?
I totally understand where Adam's coming from because
Yeah.
I don't want to mess up the first part of it, and
Yes.
the wording is escaping me.
Do you wish to pass to Mr. Kessler?
What if I don't get the exact? I have to get the exact wording for this.
If you get it right, you'll get a point. If you get it incorrect, you'll lose a point.
Oh,
The
that's
rules are simple.
ridiculous. Why am I second? Okay.
That
Is there a countdown?
no.
Oh, I'm never gonna live this down.
No.
Somewhere
I
Tony Stella is just like you get his
I know.
opinion of you is just plummeting by the second. It's like, oh, mighty moose.
Oh, son of a!
I think it has. It's
Oh, I have to pass because I don't want to get it wrong. And as soon
All
as I
right,
hear
pass
it,
it to Kessler. Kessler, let us know what the answer is.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women.
I'm going to call that a point for Mr. Kessler. First blood is yours. You're the first on the scoreboard. See, it's not so hard. All right. But now we're back to Moose. Moose, you're going to get a chance to redeem yourself because the second question is going to go to you. So Moose needs weapons to get inspired. If I'm holding an axe, it'll all come back to me.
you got to
I was
get.
just missing crush in my mind. That was it.
Yeah.
All right, Moose, which line comes next?
Who are you?
Can I just say I'm Sumatai?
That's
Is there more
all
that I have to say?
There are 3 more words that come with the line.
Oh, come on. Which means I've already got it wrong because I can't remember.
No,
the
you
other
get
three
you're
lines.
so far so good.
No, because I don't remember the other 3 words.
Well, actually, all right, we'll put up to a vote. Everybody raise your thumb up or down if that is sufficient. If you know the line. There are 3 more words, but he's on the right track. So on the count of 3, without looking at what your friend's doing, all 5 of you, actually, Moose, you're out of this. I will join in just to make sure it's uneven. Everybody else, thumbs up or thumbs down if Moose doesn't get the last 3 words. All right, Moose, you got to pass.
Yeah.
They're going to give you the point. The full
That's
line.
all I know too. So
The full line is this.
Who are you? I am Sumatai, thief and archer.
yeah.
Thief and archer. In any case, you've got a point on the scoreboard, so you and Mr. Kessler are tied. But Kessler, you're already doing pretty well. It is now your turn. Are you ready for your question?
Let's do it.
This one should be for Moose, but it's for Kessler.
And he would ask me, what is the riddle of steel? If I don't know it, he will cast me out of Valhalla and laugh at me. That's Crumb.
I'm going to pass.
Mr. Pullen, do you know which line comes next?
I am also going to pass.
And also, I should say, due to where we started the rotation, it will go all the way around back to Moose if everybody passes. So, Victor, do you know the answer to what comes next?
Yeah, I think so. Is it strong on his mountain?
Well done. Victor, you're officially on the scoreboard. Here is the official line.
Strong on his mountain.
Anyway, when Moose named his dog Crom, I just kept saying, yes, Crom, strong on his mountain.
Yeah.
All right, we are at Mr. Pullen, correct?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Pullen, are you ready for your turn?
Oh,
to
sure.
test your knowledge. All right, which line comes next?
A pittance to protect you from evil.
I am evil.
Victor,
I don't even have a bit of a clue on that one. I
do you
know.
wish to pass?
Oh yeah, I will pass.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Sluts.
Ding, ding, ding.
Wow.
You are now winning the game with 2 points. Here is the full scene.
A pittance to protect you from evil.
I am evil. You're sluts.
I believe the official line is they're all sluts, but for my entire adult life, I just thought he said sluts because he's kind of drunk and slurring. So sluts is totally acceptable.
Yeah. It always sounded like slats to me, like slats. You know.
In any case, we've come to the very last Conan quote. So, Mr. Rodriguez,
Oh boy.
here you go.
What do you see?
Infinity.
Boom, Victor! Holy shit, you're
Whoa.
kicking much ass. Victor's already got 3 points on the scoreboard. To Dan's 0, Adam's 0, Martin's 1, and Moose's 1. So round 1 is officially in the books. Victor, you have an early lead. Did you anticipate that before we got started?
No.
I should have rewatched it because I was thinking more along the lines of like the factoids about the film, like in its making, and not necessarily like.
Yeah, I like to believe I can invent games that require no homework or preparation of any kind, and it's like, and anyway. So I just thought that it would be a nice way to ease into the contest by quoting a few lines from Conan. Any lines out there that y'all love from Conan that I did not choose?
To hell with you.
Yeah, and if you do not listen, to hell with you. Yeah, the prayer to Crom is Arnold's finest moment on the big screen by far. Alrighty, well, let me look at my notes to see what round is coming up. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. Victor might sacrifice a bit of his lead on this category because, as he told us last session when we're playing Shadowrun, he never played Nintendo, so it's going to be a challenge for you to maintain your lead. But I don't. Who here, before we get started, was a Nintendo player back in the late '80s?
Oh, definitely.
All right, so Dan,
very minimally. I
Moose
didn't
a bit, Adam a bit.
games,
I think generationally you're at a disadvantage where you just weren't around for the phenomenon. What was your first console?
I did have a NES, but I didn't have a lot of games for it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. I might have picked precisely the games that you played.
There was like maybe 8 games that I actually played. So if it wasn't one of those, I don't know.
Yeah, if the question is about Life Force and pro wrestling, I am winning.
Like, I know Kid Icarus, I know Legend of Zelda, I know Metroid, but like, if you go beyond those, I'm not sure.
Some of Metroid sci-fi, but Kid Icarus or Zelda might be on deck either now or later in the evening. You never know. I loved Kid Icarus, but it's kind of a shitty game. But Zelda I played a lot. But
I can hum the tune.
In the 80s, there were 3 big fads that I got in on: breakdancing, skateboarding, and Nintendo. And one came in the early 80s, one came in the mid 80s, one came in the late 80s, and I embraced all of the above. So the rules
and slap bracelets. You were really big into those.
But the rules for this are simple. I'm going to play you a brief clip. It's going to give you some footage and some music. All you have to do is identify the game. So, Mr. Rakoff, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it. I think it has the word axe in it. Unless I'm thinking of the wrong game.
At a minimum, you got to hear some groovy tunes.
I did. I liked it. Yeah. Just give me a second. I feel like it's like on the right thing.
And also, while he's thinking,
I didn't play this game, but I feel like I'm aware. I was aware of it. I'd never had it though.
Also, just in case anybody guesses a game in a particular franchise, because there's some game like Ninja Gaiden won't be coming up, but there were 3 Ninja Gaidens. You have to give the full title of the specific entry if you're guessing a game from a franchise. So Ninja Gaiden's a perfect example. I never played 2 and 3 because 1 was so fucking hard. It broke my spirit for all time. All right, Adam, what is your...
I'm kind of taking a guess. I think, is it Battle Axe?
Sadly, you have 1 point to the detriment in the wrong column.
That's my final answer.
It is an obscure strategy game called Defender of the Crown, where you get to play Ivanhoe and team up with Robin Hood and fight for the British Isles. And I played it over and over and over. And for Robin Hood fans out there, Defender of the Crown was an early classic.
I took a chance because those were again, there were a few of those fantasy games I always wanted to play and never had access to. So
fair enough. Mr. Matson, are you ready for your NES game?
Oh yeah. I have to pass.
Mr. Kessler.
Is that Castlevania?
-1 to
Oh.
Kessler. It is actually Castlevania 2, Simon's
Oh.
Quest.
Oh.
So, okay.
Gotta
So
be
Moose, I think Moose suspected I was throwing you a curveball, and he did not want to extend his neck. But here's a chance for Mr. Kessler to redeem himself.
Okay, now I feel like I'm overthinking this.
Psychological warfare from your dungeon master.
Is that Castlevania?
Yes, it is indeed.
I'm back.
And I was thinking, not if I said Battle Axe, I was thinking Golden Axe. That's
Golden
the
Axe.
game I was thinking.
Oh, I love Golden Axe.
That's
All right,
what
now
I
just to
was
make sure
trying
I've
to
got my scoreboard
pull
correct
out of
so
my
far.
brain.
Martin and Adam both have a -1 in the wrong column, but Martin has 2 in the right column, Moose has 1 in the right column, and Victor has 3 in the right column. Do I have the score correct so far?
Sounds right.
All right. And if I'm wrong, somebody in the comments after I post this video, but you fucking idiot, you forgot the rules like 2 minutes in. So in any event, but Mr. Kessler, well done on your
I was told there would be no math.
Exactly. Martin, did you ever play Castlevania? Or did you just know that from like walkthroughs on YouTube and that sort of thing?
I got the big collection on PlayStation 5.
Gotcha. All right. There we go. Sounds good. All right, Mr. Pullen, are you ready for the NES trivia?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. This one is a childhood fave, but it's got mixed reviews. And I'll give you a hint. I've played this before y'all in the past, showing the technology in Roll20 for being able to play music in game, which I always forget to do. But
Yes.
I have mentioned this in the past.
I think I know the game. But what's happening is there's like 3 different titles that are like mixing themselves up in my head.
I'll make it
So-
even mixier, if that's a word. It has a different name as a computer game before the Nintendo port.
That helps me none. So I'm going to pass.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez, do you recognize that game?
Same as Dan. Like I think I know the franchise, but I don't know the specific one.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough. You're going to pass, or
I pass. Yes.
Mr. Rakoff?
Yes, I have a good guess, but I don't want to lose another point after what I did last time. So I'm going to let Moose pass because I know he's going to.
Moose, are you going to pass?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Kessler, last chance for everlasting glory.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna have to pass on that one.
It was originally released on the computer as Ultima 3 Exodus, but on Nintendo it was known as Ultima, but it was Ultima Exodus. And it is a very grindy RPG, but obviously one of the most famous computer fantasy franchises of the 80s and 90s, and turned the creator Lord Britton into a very, very wealthy man. But Victor,
That was none of the 3 titles I was thinking
No,
of. So.
what are y'all thinking?
Yeah.
There's one that starts with an F that's like Fanadu.
Oh, Faxanadu. I love Faxanadu.
Yep.
I love
and
it.
then the other, I don't know the others, but like it just.
But Faxanadu was cool. I enjoyed that one thoroughly.
Yep.
All right, Victor, the hardest one by far has been left to you, and I know you never played Nintendo, so I'm looking forward to seeing what you might cook up. But at a minimum, you get to enjoy a little narrative. And my one clue is that the title was teased in that text if you were reading along.
Oh, man.
Oh, I was just enjoying the music.
And another clue is it is maybe the most hated game ever released on the Nintendo Entertainment System. But I had no basis for comparison or criteria for judging back then. I was like, oh, it's a fantasy game. It must be incredible. And I played it constantly, but it is reviled to the present day.
Wow. No, perhaps one of my friends can get it, but I will pass.
All right, Mr. Rakoff.
I have another guess. Again, I didn't play this game. I remember lots of artwork and cover art for all these games, but I didn't own them, didn't play them.
Well, along those lines, the cover artwork is famously misleading. Everyone's like, oh, this looks cool.
Yeah.
And then the game was quite different.
Yeah, so I'm going to make a guess. Is it Deadly something? Deadly.
You're almost there.
No, I can see the box art. It's what
I'm blown away that you got the first word right.
Because
you were on.
I have a book on like classic NES box art, and I love it.
I'm in awe that you can infer about a game that you have not yet played and at least get 50%
but
right.
I've seen it. I've seen images from it and stuff.
All right, one more word. There are only a couple thousand to choose from.
I know, like it's like on the tip of my tongue.
Is it worth half a point?
Sadly, no.
Deadly Towers.
Holy shitballs!
Am I right?
Wow. Yes.
I'll have to find
the biggest
book.
shock of the evening by far is that anybody knew what the fuck that game was. That's amazing.
I just remember. I told you I have this like cool book on like the history and art of like.
But none of that was present in that.
But
yeah.
I remember the graphic, the cover art and the title, and I've seen like like videos of the game online. So I'm seeing the image.
It's like how do you not get crush your enemies? How do you get that?
Yeah.
I consider me humbled and awed for your ability to pull that out of your ass.
You should not have picked me first for the opponent. Or I shouldn't have rolled so well, I guess. Because did they know we rolled to see one?
Oh, I didn't mention that yet. Before we started playing the trivia game, I had everybody in our Roll20 setup roll the 100-sided die to determine the order, because I didn't want to have to rearrange the questions as we go, and so they just had to get either lucky or unlucky. But I tried to change the order. What's hard or easy is totally subjective, depending on what you're interested in as a kid. In any case, so Adam got the good luck or the bad luck to go first.
And now I do remember my friend Charlie had it. So I don't know if you, and this is a side, did anyone have a friend who like you would go and play games or like you weren't allowed to play?
Yeah, you just watched them play because they were the one that was good.
Them play. That was my friend Charlie.
Wow.
And he had every game, and I was never allowed to play, but I would sit and watch him. And I remember that's where I'm pulling this from. I'm just.
That's how I felt in high school with guys that were good at getting laid. No, I just had to sit and watch. No, but like I had a friend who was really good at Metroid and a friend who was really good at Kid Icarus, and so I'd watch him play and kind of study him. And then I would get the game and then take a stab at it myself after I'd kind of seen him, unveil all the secrets. And that's what
did the walkthrough for you.
Yeah. I would often like yell, like, "Can I just have a turn?" And I would die right away. And then he would play his turn again, and then he would play for an hour, and I'd be like, "Okay." So like I've seen so many games played, and my parents didn't buy them for me. So.
Well, if anybody wants to watch a really funny video about Deadly Towers, the Angry Video Game Nerd, who is I guess his channel's officially Cinema Massacre, but he's the Angry Video Game Nerd. He has one of his best videos. How I discovered his channel was his review of Deadly Towers, which is nothing but just shrieking rage. But now we're entering into round 3, which I know everybody has an equally good fighting chance because we're going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons and anything and everything that y'all have experienced in 1st, 2nd, or 5th edition. Is all fair game. So we'll see. We started playing 5th edition D&D in either January or February of 2021. And then in 2022, we played a 1st edition / kind of 2nd edition hybrid. And then in 2023, we played a 2nd edition Dark Sun campaign. But we've played no D&D since. So all these memories should be dusty and moldy and forgotten. So we'll see how much of that memory or how much of that knowledge has stuck around.
And I will just say that I kept detailed files on all of our campaigns, but I did not look at them ahead of time to refresh my memory. Like I kept every character, I kept everything you sent us in Zoom to download, I have in folders and stuff.
Well, when I get hit by a bus, you can make a documentary about all of our exploits. But before we get into round 3, I just want to double check the score. Dan, am I correct? You've gotten nothing wrong nor right. All right, so you're blank slate. Mr. Kessler's got 2 right, 1 wrong. But as we know from What's New Pussycat, or actually no, What's Up Tiger Lily, 2 wrongs don't make a right, as they said. Moose, I've got you with 1 correct. Adam, 1 correct and 1 incorrect. And Victor, 3 correct. Do I have the score correct so far? All righty, time for a little D&D, and Mr. Rakoff, you're going to go first. Do you recognize this
There
module?
we go.
Until 20 years ago, it had been the residence of an aged alchemist and magician of sinister reputation, and even then had been shunned by reason of its owner's mysterious occupations. Now, 2 decades after the sudden and unexplained disappearance of its occupant, the house has acquired an even greater air of evil and mystery with the passing years.
Mr. Rakoff, which module was that?
Oh, this is going to be bad because I'm going to.
And you have no excuse because you've played it twice.
I know. I'm pretty sure it's the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh.
Well done, my friend.
Yes.
Okay. You scored yourself a point.
Because yes, I played it with you and Becky and Bill Scurry as well. I went along for the ride.
You were co-DM, and I felt a little guilty including that because Moose, if you remember, you did not record that for this group. You recorded that for the other group. But I knew that because of the word sinister in the description and the art, some people might recognize it, and it just happened to fall on Adam's shoulders, who had a lot of exposure to the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, which is my favorite level 1 module in the history of Dungeons and Dragons.
But then I was second guessing myself, like, no, it couldn't be that easy. So I started thinking, what was that other one, the house, and
So Adam, you've got 2 correct and 1 incorrect so far?
That's how I remember it.
All right, but I've got a funky like double mark written down. I'm scratching out, just giving it a nice 2. Okay, Moose, are you ready to identify the module? And you're gonna have no excuses because you might have played a role in the creation of this content. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Moose.
I don't want to risk the chance of losing.
You cannot claim that you were not there.
Oh, I was there. I knew, like I said earlier, I knew Adam's question, but this one, it could be, in my mind, it's like two different ones. And if I say the one,
they do start to blur together. I will say.
Also, we've played, in the last 4.5 years, I would argue our group has probably cleared more published modules than any other tabletop RPG group on the planet. And I feel confident saying that because we only run published modules. I make up nothing apart from maybe a little filler in between or kind of a few embellishments. So we've probably cleared like 30 or 40 published adventures over the last couple of years. So you'll be forgiven if you can't quite remember the name of this module.
well, I'm wondering if there's other reasons why I should remember this particular one.
Well, the only reason I would say is that I can guarantee you Kessler knows the name. So if you pass, you're giving him a point.
He's like, oh shit.
I don't want to give him points. So I'm going to say White Plume Mountain.
Sadly,
I knew I was wrong.
Lose a point, but because you answered, even though you answered incorrectly, the question dies and no one else gets a chance to scoop it up. Who can remember from which module that
Shrine of Tomoe-chan, right?
There it is. Yeah. Hidden Shrine of Tomoe-chan, which we ran in 5th edition, but it was written for 1st edition. It was a tournament module.
That's the one I remember.
At least by taking the guess, you lost a point, but you didn't allow anyone else to gain a point. So.
Exactly.
Here's the cover that I really like. There are a couple different covers, but that's the cover that I like from when it was a tournament module.
Yeah.
And here's the cover to Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, which Adam answered earlier. But for this next one, which is going to be for, hang on, I think my oh, interesting. When we're in that mode, it's changing the order around.
Yep.
Interesting. Look at that. So we'll have to remember. But Mr. Kessler, it is your turn. Right. We know it's your turn, even though the system is trying to screw it up. Can you identify the following module, Mr. Kessler?
That's Fire Giant.
And your little friend. Remember?
Yeah. Oh gosh. This was like each floor is a different element, right? Yeah, Floga, the little big dragon.
There it is. Yeah.
I remember the building. We were like going up each floor, and each one had like a different elemental. Oh my god, what was the module? Shucks. I remember everything but the name of the module.
Yeah, it's like.
Do you wish to pass to Mr.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Mr. Pullen, you want to take a chance?
I want to, but I am not going to. So I'm also going to pass.
Mr. Rodriguez. All right, Victor, can you remember?
It's the Ghost Tower of Inverness.
Bing, 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 bing.
Oh my lord.
I had tower. I was like,
yeah, I remember the tower. I just
Victor is now up to 4 points on the scoreboard.
That title slipped.
Victor came to win. Y'all are gonna have
he did.
Roll up your sleeves if you're gonna be ready to keep up with him. But along those lines, the next question is going to go to Mr. Pullen because we resume the regular rotation.
All right.
And I got to get my phrasing of the question correctly. Hang on. All right. Now, the rest of the world might know these characters by different names, but in which module did your party meet the mighty Red Donia and Dalador?
Which module was that?
In which module did you encounter Red Donia and Dalador, who would soon join the party after the death of X?
Right.
I was about to help you.
Yeah. Once again, if you want to give him a point, by all means, blurt it out.
No, I'm going to pass. I can't remember.
Victor, do you remember?
Yes. It's the Lost Caverns of Sajkanth.
Victor's now up to 5 points. You're easy to keep track of because I got to just put a line between the lines. Holy moly.
I actually knew that one, but because it also was, it came on the heels of the death of Hicks as well.
Yeah, Hicks died fighting a blue dragon.
Yeah.
The module is awesome. The beginning of the module is a huge overland adventure where the players are looking for the lost caverns of Siozcant. And depending on where they go, they have different experiences. And then once they get there, it's just this epic 2-story dungeon crawl. And it's an interesting module because it's also a transition point between the original lineup of first edition and kind of the second wave of books, because there are stats and spells and items at the end of the module that were then introduced in the Unearthed Arcana. But it was kind of like the transition point that Gary Gygax used to move things along. But Victor, last question. I've got another round of D&D for later if we need it. But for this round of D&D, you are to guess in which module did the following epic battle take place.
Yeah, I do remember the battle, but no, I don't remember the name of the module, so I'll pass.
All right, Adam Rakoff, you get a chance to poach it.
What?
Adam's like, what the fuck's going on?
Where am I?
You are. You're right there in kind of the most northernmost character.
Yeah. That's when the ghost kept throwing us down.
Rakad is that would be one of the.
So was it Rakad, Flynn? What were the name? What were the name of the
paladins?
paladins?
Yeah, it was our 5th edition campaign.
Yeah.
So what were the 5th edition campaign modules? Come on, Adam. It was.
And if people remember, this battle was interesting because the ghost kept possessing people and jumping off the cliff. So the battle was kind of taking place at the top and at the bottom, and they'll eventually got the ghost down.
I think I was a dick.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
It's either like can I like say the word but then say not my final answer.
Now, if you wish to brainstorm internally.
Yeah. Just give me just a second. My brain. I've lost the.
After answering Deadly Towers, you can basically answer no questions the rest of the night, and your dignity will remain intact. So there's no harm in passing to the Mighty Moose.
I feel like it's the Forge of Fury, but I'm not sure. That's it.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. I what the heck? What do I have to lose? That's my guess.
Ding,
hey,
ding,
it
ding,
is?
Ding, ding,
Unbelievable.
Ding. You've now got 3 points on the scoreboard, but 1 in the negative. So
one in the negative.
Combined total of 2. But that is a 3rd edition module, which was kind of refitted for 5th edition to be included in Tales of the Yawning Water.
Yeah, that was the only one I knew.
So Dan and Moose,
I was
y'all
want
to sing the song for us?
Forge of Fury. Those are the two that was
Enter the Forge of Fury.
And I've never understood the lyrics at the beginning. You've got like some pretty lengthy lyrics initially. Can you remember how the song goes?
My companions by my side. We fight for our lives. Enter the Forge of Fury.
Well done. If people want to know what the fuck we're talking about, years ago, we recorded a review of the module. And in that review, Dan and Moose did a song, and then Adam created an intro with like explosions and flame and all kinds of stuff. It was bananas. And anyway, we had good fun. All right, but that is the end of round 3. I'm going to go ahead and play a brief intermission in Moose's honor. And it's an intermission that he will absolutely recognize because it's one of his favorite gaming experiences. The intermission lasts for 2 minutes and 8 seconds. If anybody needs water, pee break, or whatever, now is the time to indulge. All right, Moose, while we wait for the return of Kessler, do you wish to tell everybody what Rygar was all about back in the day?
Oh, I have no idea what it was all about. You play those games, you just go, yeah, you kill people. And yeah, they have
Do you remember the name of the weapon that he is wielding in that game? You had to read the Nintendo handbook in order to know the name of the weapon.
No, I don't read back then.
The disc armor.
Disc armor. I would have.
And if you had that fancy controller with the turbo button, he would go.
Yeah.
And the game was basically impossible to play in the absence. I think they made the game just for that controller, but yeah, I invested a few million hours into my adventures as Rygar.
I love that game.
That was a good one.
All righty. Well, here is where we stand after 3 rounds. Dan, nil. Martin, 2 in the positive, 1 in the negative. Moose, 1 in the positive, 1 in the negative. Adam, 3 in the positive and 1 in the negative. And Victor, 5 in the positive. Holy moly.
James, here's a question for you. Dalador, do you remember where his name came from?
Calador, the character Arnold Schwarzenegger plays in Red Sonja. Yeah.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. Red Sonja and Dalador, baby.
That's right. We just changed it to a D.
All right. Well, my favorite category of the evening is on deck. And for people who don't know what it means, back in the 1980s, we went from having like no fantasy movies to having a lot of fantasy movies very, very quickly. Like if you look at the release schedule, in 80, I think we had Hawk the Slayer, and then in 81, we had a few. Then in 82, there's a tidal wave, and Conan the Barbarian being one of them. But a lot of people think that Conan the Barbarian launched this trend. It was part of the trend, but in 1982, there was just this onslaught. And then diminishing returns from 83 onward, but there are a lot of juicy ones where when you're watching them, they're so low budget and everybody's so well built, you can't quite tell the difference at times. So I'm going to show these guys some clips and some images, and they're going to guess. But here's the deal. This is a tricky part of the game. You can guess fantasy or porn. Then there's part 2. You can guess the title of the movie. And if you don't know the title of the movie, you will be forced to pass, giving the next person in the rotation an opportunity to steal that point. So 2 points are at risk with each time, or you can just pass entirely and let the other guy make.
So you can get the first point, but
you can guess the genre,
guessing,
and then pass the title.
Right.
If you
Okay.
Like.
All right.
And this way, everybody gets a chance to get on the scoreboard. Because once again, it's 50-50 coin toss. It's not going to be that hard. But Mr. Rakoff, are you ready?
Oh yeah.
Am
I
first
up again?
example?
Okay.
Yes,
I'm ready.
You're the beginning of. You're the top of the rotation.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so let me hide this so everybody's nice and big. That's what she said. Oh, and the first clip is.
You don't have much choice. Are you ready to perform the duty that is my right?
Well, no.
What do you think, Adam?
Brilliant reading.
80s fantasy or pornography?
I think it's 80s fantasy. I will final answer.
You get a point for getting that correct. You've now got four in the positive, one in the negative.
Title wise, that's a different. There's like 2 or 3 movies I would guess it's from, but I don't know for sure. So I don't want to take the risk.
You want to take the L? You're going to pass the Moose?
I'm going to pass the Moose.
Moose, do you remember the title of that fine piece of cinema?
I remember it, but I never remember the title.
Yeah, this is not. They don't study it in film school.
And there's like 3 or 4 that like really all feel like
they all blur together, and they have multiple titles because they were like made in Italy, then released in different.
Yes,
I'll give you, if you can guess it in Italian or American, it'll still be correct. But Moose, it sounds like are you going to pass to Kessler?
I'm passing to Kessler.
Should I risk it? I think it's the Amazons.
Sadly, you would be incorrect. It is Ator, the Fighting Eagle.
That was not one of the ones I was.
That was one of my 2 guesses.
They were literally. I watched them both because they're alphabetical on a hard drive, back to back. I'm like, it's one of those 2.
Yeah. All right, Moose, are you ready to plumb the depths of your knowledge of the fantasy genre and tell me what the following clip comes from?
I'm glad I didn't guess that.
All right, here we go. Is it fantasy or is it pornography?
Or both?
Well, I should also specify for me, porn X rating, triple X rating. If it's R rated, it's not porn. Obviously, porn is subjective, but it's just easy to go by rating system. And in the 1980s, there were a lot of fantasy movies that were R rated, and there are some movies that were a little bit more explicit.
The camera looks too good to be porn.
But
I'm going to go porn.
Production value.
You're going porn?
Yeah.
Sadly, you would be incorrect.
Damn it. I knew it was too good.
But do you wish to try and guess the title, or do you want to pass?
Oh, no, pass.
It's Deathstalker.
Right. Boom. Kessler, don't back that guy into a corner. He knows what he's
I
talking
told
about.
you last week I'd never seen any of the Deathstalkers. I should, and I still
I
have
told
them.
you all of them are fair game tonight.
Yeah.
And
So
you're saying
Kessler,
those aren't porn.
Kessler now is actually in the positive. He's got three right, 2 wrong, but at least he's in the positive. So he's pulled ahead of Dan.
Technically, the 4th Deathstalker came out in the 90s. Is that game for this?
We shall see.
All right.
It did come out in 1991. But anything with Deathstalker in the title, you never know when it might make a surprise appearance.
I guess in a way, the 80s fantasy craze carried over into the early 90s. Like a
little bit,
like
but it was fading fast.
Yeah.
It was a brief shining moment, and like a candle burned on both ends. It just burned too brightly, and the world could not contain its epic grandeur. But Mr. Kessler, are you ready for your clip?
I think so.
All right, letting her rip in 3, 2, 1. What do you think?
I could go either way. I'm gonna pass.
You're gonna pass? Holy moly, Mr. Pullen. Moose is having a conniption over here.
All right, that's 80s fantasy.
All right, that gives you a point.
Oh, I should have said on the first part.
Boom! You're at least got 1 point on the scoreboard.
That's Conan the Barbarian.
That's correct, sir. You
oh,
get points.
Oh my God!
That is
Moose
the witch
so
lady.
Like I knew that one.
Oh yeah. I told you.
I was about to say, Kessler, I'm throwing you a softball, but once again, when it comes to trivia, one person's softball is another person's granular detail, and so never forget.
I meant to pass on the title. I didn't.
My sister was playing that for my little brother when he was like a toddler, and I don't think he even knew that sex was a thing yet. And so while they're wrestling and she's scratching and biting him, he goes, "What's he doing to her?" And my sister was like, "Oh, they're just wrestling." And then he threw her in the fire. And anyway, my little brother was very confused. All right, but we got 2 more in this category. Mr. Pullen, are you ready for your turn?
Yes, let's do it.
Who is here to help the barbarian with the gauntlet of steel?
Who are you?
Never mind. The barbarian is to be killed at any moment. We must save him.
Oh.
And don't make Martin's mistake. Remember the genre first.
Right. So yes. I'm gonna say That is 80s Fantasy.
That is indeed 80s Fantasy. Dan, you now have 3 correct answers. You're catching up. Do you wish to pass the title or going to go for it?
I have.
Moose has got beads of sweat. It's like, I fucking know this one.
I'm gonna pass on the title.
Mr. Rodriguez, do you remember what fine piece of cinema that came from?
I do not. I'm also going to pass on the title.
Mr. Rakoff.
All right. I think I'm almost positive because it has a Boris Vallejo poster. I'm pretty sure it's Barbarian Queen.
Sadly, you would be incorrect.
Oh.
That comes from The Sword and the Sorcerer.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't even one of my guesses, so
yeah.
Thank God.
Because they kept talking about the Barbarian. Yeah, it's the clip.
All right. Well, Victor, I got a special one for you. The last question in the fantasy or porn discussion is actually just it's a screen grab from a piece of a poster. And you're going to have to guess from the poster the genre and the title. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, shit. I got to make everybody go away.
No.
Oh, I know this. Where'd it go?
I made it go away. He only gets his eyes would melt if he got to look at that much glory for too many seconds. It's like you got to look at the sun and then look away.
Yep. I know it. It's 80s Fantasy.
All right, you get a point for 80s Fantasy. You're up to 6 now.
And it's The Warrior and the Sorceress.
It's David
Carradine.
Yeah.
You would be correct.
Yes.
Adam gave me this. I have it framed.
I was like, I know this one.
Yeah. I got it framed for everybody to enjoy when they come over. Well done, Victor. You are now officially up to 7 points. Adam is at 4 and 2. Moose is at 1 and 2. Martin's at 3 and 2. And Dan is at 3. And that brings this lurid round to a close. But if you're real good, or if you ask for it, I've got some special bonus rounds of fantasy and porn to be enjoyed later on, just in case we run out of things to talk about. But let's see which category is up next.
And they're worth double.
Triple in some cases, or in her case, quadruple, if you look real closely.
You're going to need 4 hands.
Yeah, I tried to include a clip from the movie, but YouTube shot me down. The bastards. Yeah. All right, so next up, I think this is, in theory, going to be the toughest category of the entire evening. How well do you know your Noldor? Does anybody wish to explain who the Noldor are in their own words before we get into this category? I've even got art to accompany the questions from some of the best Tolkien artists out there. John Howe, Alan Lee, Ted Nasmith, etc. and so forth. But I look for the best art that I could find to go along with the questions. And they're multiple choice. So even if you've never read the Silmarillion, you still have a fighting chance.
Yeah, I have not.
The short version of the Noldor is that there was a certain event, traumatizing event, which is part of one of the questions. I don't want to go into too much detail, which led to a bunch of the elves from the Undying Lands returning to Middle Earth to seek revenge. And throughout the First Age, they have a series of victories and finally a series of defeats, which nearly destroys the Noldor entirely. But those that survive, some of their descendants are some of the most popular characters in all of Tolkien lore. Like Galadriel was one of the Noldor. And that's all I'll say for now, because I don't have a question related to Galadriel. But she is in the Second and Third Age, one of the greatest of elves, because she's one of the ones that managed to live. In any case, Adam, are you ready for your first question?
Yep.
As to whether or not you know your Noldor.
I will not know it, but I will attempt to guess.
All right. All right, so I'm going to show the art first. Comes from Ted Nasmith. And maybe I ought to just go full screen.
All right.
And the question, tell me if you can see this or not. Can you see that question?
Yes, I can.
All right, read it out for us.
All right, let's read it. After the theft of the Silmarils, who renamed Melkor as Morgoth and led the Noldor into exile to seek revenge? Question mark. Is it? I'm not even going to try to read these.
Finway.
I have no idea. I'm going to pass.
Oh, sorry.
Finway, Feanor, Finarfin, Fingolfin, Fingon, or Finrod. Adam, do you wish to guess
No.
was responsible for renaming Melkor as Morgoth, or do you wish to pass?
If I could narrow it down even a little bit, I might just take the chance, but I do not have. I'm going to give it to Moose.
Moose!
Feanor.
Boom! Well done, Mr. Moose. You are perfectly positioned for the next question. But hang on, let me change the banner back to the correct asset or the previous asset so I don't accidentally.
Doesn't that guy look like me in that picture?
A little bit. All right, let me hide this question. All right, Moose, I'll start with the art. Let me make sure I'm just getting the right one. Yep. All right, so here is some art by John Howe. And the question is, read it for us, please.
Which High King of the Noldor died while battling Morgoth in single combat? Finwë, Feanor, Finarfin, Fingolfin, Fingon, or Finrod? Oh, I don't want to mess this up.
I'll even give you a hint. He even left a wound that was so devastating that Morgoth had a limp the rest of his days.
Yeah. I want to say the king. I want to say Finwë.
Is that your final answer?
It's pronounced Finland.
I will say Finwë.
That sadly would be incorrect. No, Finwë was murdered by Morgoth when he stole the Silmarils.
Couldn't remember which took place.
Finwë was the father, like the head of the Noldor, and then Feanor was his eldest son. But yeah, so Fingolfin died fighting Morgoth in single combat. He thought that the cause of the Noldor was so doomed that he might as well just challenge Morgoth in single combat, and he shamed him before all the combined forces of Morgoth, forcing him for the last time to come out and face anybody in single combat. And from that point on, Morgoth let other people do his dirty fighting for him.
I'm heartbroken.
Sorry, who's the artist there?
That would be John Howe, who was one of the technical consultants on Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, and he worked on a lot of the concept art. Like John Howe and Alan Lee were both hired to work on the movie, and that's why the movie's fucking good, because they got some of the best artists in the land to work on it. Yeah. All right, so next question is going to be for Mr. Kessler. Let me go ahead and prepare the art. Boom, 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 boom. And I'll go empty. And the question would be, Mr. Kessler, read it out loud for us, please.
Gothmog, Lord of Balrogs, which is one of the only names I remember, along with Ungoliant, like all the cool names, killed 2 high kings of the Noldor. But which of the 2 died at the Battle of Unnumbered Tears?
And if you wish to say which the 6 options, but we've already eliminated 2, so the questions are getting easier.
I'm going to guess Finrod.
Sadly, you would be incorrect.
Oh, well.
It would be Fingon. But in your defense, Fingon and Finrod, I have to think the most about remembering in which category they belong and which deeds they were responsible for.
I remember Morgoth. I remember Gothmog. Ungoliant. Like, if you're a bad guy, I'll remember your name.
Because the bad guys from the first age are fucking awesome.
I think is Finrod. Finrod is the one that becomes Rodimus Prime. You know?
Exactly.
Yes.
That would be correct. All right, Mr. Pullen. I can't remember. Have you read the Silmarillion or not?
I have a while ago, and I watched several Silmarillion summary videos this week, but I don't think it's helping me.
Well, the art I've chosen is in a lot of those videos, so it might be a dead giveaway. So let me go with the art first. Let me make us all go away. And the question for you will be, read it out loud for us, por favor.
Who gave the Ring of Barahir to the House of Beor and later gave his life protecting Beren in the dungeons of Sauron in the First Age? Finwë, Feanor, Finarfin, Fingolfin, Fingon, or Finrod?
All right.
I am going to. I'm going to go with Finrod.
Boom!
Oh,
well played. Nice. You were up to 4 rights and 0 wrongs.
Okay. What hasn't been picked yet?
Well,
that helped a lot.
I'm about to do Victor dirty because for the next question, you get a whole new set of names. So Victor bad luck has to start from scratch with a whole new batch of characters. So let's see. Ooh, some of my favorite art by John.
The only thing I had going for me was the process of elimination.
Absolutely. Alrighty. Mr. Rodriguez, when you're ready, read the final question from Know Your Noldor.
Long before it was wielded by Gandalf, the sword Glamdring was wielded by the king of Gondolin. What was this king's name? Thingol, Tulkas, Tuor, Turgon, Turin, or Thorondor?
Yeah, let's just say that Tolkien exhausted every possible name for every letter of the alphabet. If you look up the Silmarillion, it's like 1,000 names for every letter. So anyway, there are plenty of T's to choose from.
Well, I think I'm going to have to pass on that one.
Mr. Rakoff, do you wish to take a stab? Only 6.
Take a stab.
No exactly.
No, I don't have. I'd just be taking a guess. So I'm going to pass to Moose. Yeah,
Moose.
Boom!
Well done, Mr.
Nice.
Moose.
Nice, Moose.
So the hardest part, I'll just say this.
Welcome.
Y'all's fantasy knowledge is impressive because I think the hardest category by far was Know Your Noldor, and y'all got a couple of them right. So well played.
Which is the one that swallowed the Silmar and it gave him a tummy ache?
Oh no, that was Kakarot.
Okay.
The giant werewolf.
And he went berserk.
Yeah, he went crazy because
he went completely crazy because he bit the hand off of Beren while he was holding the gem, and of course Beren returns to Thingol to say that he has been successful in his quest to retrieve a Silmaril in order to marry his daughter. And Thingol's like, "Well, where is it?" He's like, "Well, it's in my hand, but it's in the belly of a rampaging beast, and we're going to go hunt for him right now." And anyway, it's a great bit. The quest of Beren, for people who are interested in the Silmarillion, like you can get the different stories individually now in novel form, thanks to Christopher Tolkien, where you can just read the story of Beren and Luthien. But the story that got me interested in reading the Silmarillion, I saw a picture by John Howe of the fall of Gondolin, and Gondolin's reference in the Lord of the Rings, but I never really thought about it. But it's as soon as I saw that art and I realized that there are battles where Balrogs, dragons, and orcs are all teaming up to kill the good guys. I was like, this sounds a little bigger than what we saw in the Lord of the Rings. And that's when I read the Silmarillion and ended up reading it several times. This next question is a bonus question just for shits and giggles. It's not worth any points, but who would like to risk their pride by subjecting themselves to the bonus question? Who's feeling brave and powerful before I ask?
Same category?
Similar category.
Oh, okay.
Second age.
Is it possible?
I'll try it.
All right, Dan, lay it on us once again for no points, but just for bragging rights.
Okay.
Read the question for us, please.
The Amazon show, Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. A, completely sucks. B, sucks balls. C, sucks ass. D, completely and totally sucks dick. Or E, all of the above. I've never seen this show.
Yeah,
what would you guess?
Harbor a guess. I'm going to harbor a guess. E, all of the above.
That would be correct. But season 3 is on its way, and I get lots of traffic by making fun of that show. Make 1,000 seasons. I don't fucking care. You can't hurt my feelings. My feelings are already dead inside, but I will gladly ridicule that show until my dying day. Yeah. Much like how Feanor vowed revenge against Morgoth for stealing the Silmarils, I have made a similar vow to destroy that show. And my own
The Oath of Hancock.
But a lot of people will say in my comments, they'll say, dude, I don't watch the show, but you get so mad talking about the show that it's hilarious. So they like watching the videos. The key is maintaining that, like, the righteous indignation without it becoming an act. Like, I've got to be mad for real. And then it becomes fun. So I am looking forward to season 3. And who knows, maybe we'll have to do just a Tolkien specific trivia game before season 3 rolls around. But are y'all ready? Round 6, D&D continued.
Okay.
And just to give everybody an update of where they stand: Dan, 4 right; Martin, 3 right, 3 wrong; Moose, 3 right, 3 wrong; Adam, 4 right, 2 wrong. Victor, 7 correct. So right now, Victor is the man to beat. Are your memories of D&D feeling sufficiently refreshed before we dive into this round?
No.
Adam, are you ready for my
I'm ready.
first big brain buster? And it actually, you got lucky. This is, of all the people in the group, you're most uniquely equipped to answer it correctly due to one of your characters that you had. So this is a luck of the draw situation. When you're ready, read for us the following question.
Now the pressure is on. Okay. First edition, 13th level fighter has base THAC0 of 8, wields a +2 longsword, and has +1 to hit from specialization, and another +1 to hit from strength. Target has AC -2. What does he need to roll to hit? Oh my god. Can I
the dreaded THAC0? People live in horror of THAC0, but because I grew up with it, I'm just used to it, so it doesn't bother me at all. But Adam, can you remember from your time of playing Dalador, what would this character need to roll to hit?
Let me reread this.
Because even though he wasn't a fighter, he would be using a similar similar framework. Or you could pass to Moose. I know Moose is just dying to answer that question.
Oh, I can't. My brain's too messed up right now. I can't even.
You gonna pass?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out Shadowrun.
Fair enough, Mr. Moose.
Yeah.
Do you recall how this game mechanic works?
Not in the least.
Second edition.
Martin, it's to you.
No, it's not because I'm passing.
Dan should get it.
Dan, you must redeem this group.
I'm going to be really embarrassed because I only played first and second edition, but it's a 6.
Boom. Well done.
Nice.
You now officially have 5
Explain
points.
it for us.
THAC0 stands for
armor class
to hit
0.
Armor class 0. Well done.
Yeah.
Actually, Dan, you explain it since you got it right.
All right. To hit armor class 0, you would need an 8. With no special weapons or anything. That's just base. So he's got a +2 longswords. That brings it down to 6. +1 to hit for specialization brings it to 5. And a +1 to strength that brings it to 4. But because the AC is -2, so negative AC is better, like the lower AC, it's 2 points lower than 0. So it brings it back up to 6.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Very good.
Yeah, I was trying to teach my nephews a couple weeks ago.
It all comes back to me now.
If you subtract the armor class from the person's THAC0, that's the number you need to roll. But you also have to take into account the modifiers.
Right.
So well done, Dan. Those memories are moldy and dusty, but you dug them up. But Moose, you now get a chance to show off your knowledge of second edition. Let it rip, Mr. Moose.
Are sure you don't want Martin to read this? Because I'll read. A second edition, 13th level cleric has a saving throw versus petrification of 8 and wields a ring of protection +3. What number do they need to roll and include higher or lower to avoid a Medusa's gaze? Martin? Because I'm passing.
Okay, saving throw.
And before you answer, I'll say this. The reason there's some sorts of confusion here, I was having my players roll for both their own saving throws as well as the saving throws of their foes just to give them more to do. But as a result, they can never quite remember, is it a good thing or a bad thing to go high or low? And so we just, saving throws were always a bit of a mystery, but Martin gets to prove us now how much he retained from back in the day.
Saving roll of 8. +3, that's 11. What number did they need to roll, including higher or lower, to avoid Medusa's gaze? I think they need to roll either an 11 or a 12, right?
I need one number or the other.
I'm going to say 11.
Sadly, you'd be incorrect. They need to roll a 5 or higher to avoid the Medusa's gaze. Yeah, you have to think about it in terms of you want to roll high to make your saving throw, and the ring improves your roll by 3, and your saving throw is 8. Therefore, the
better
ring
chance
would take a 5.
It brings it down.
Yeah.
So sadly, you're now back in the negative column, Mr. Kessler.
The 11 would make it harder to succeed on the saving throw. Yeah.
All
That messed
It
me
all
up when
comes
we were
back
playing
after
too.
a little while.
It's all coming back. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so Mr. Kessler, you're going to get a chance to redeem yourself now because you just need to tell me. Hang on. Read the question, please.
Written by Gary Gygax.
In case someone's listening on YouTube, read it out, please.
Name 2 modules originally written by Gary Gygax that we have run either first, second, or 5th edition. But Gary Gygax,
And you have to get both right, or it's a negative. It's not a 2-point question.
Okay, I think I know one, but I'm going to pass it.
Mr. Pullen, do you wish to snake this question for Mr. Kessler?
I'm not confident enough. I'm going to pass.
Mr. Rodriguez?
2 modules originally written by Gary Gygax. Okay.
Or co-written. He's got his name on a bunch of modules, and we've run a decent number.
Okay. The Tomb of Horrors.
And
The Lost Caverns of Sajkanth.
You would be 100% correct. Check it out. Tomb of Horrors by Gary Gygax. Boom, 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 boom. Lost Caverns of Sajkanth by Gary Gygax. Well done, Victor. You are now at 8 points. Holy moly. Well done.
Good job.
He's got a healthy lead. Adam has if you combine his totals, he's got 2. Moose is flat. Martin's at -1. Dan's at 5. So Dan, you're chomping at Victor's heels.
Okay.
So I think the competition is starting to emerge. Let's go back to the original. Boom, boom, boom.
I just should never guess.
But Adam, it's fun to guess.
That's true because
You can be like me. Just keep guessing.
Yeah.
If you're not
Two-
really sure.
Two other possibilities would have been Queen of Demon Web Pits, Queen of the Demon Web Pits, which was co-written by Guy Gygax and David C. Sutherland. And then the last option is actually technically 3 modules in one, but I don't know if y'all would have remembered. You could have named 2 of the 3, but Against the Giants is technically 3 modules, but that was also written by Gary Gygax.
That was the only one I was thinking of, but I was going to call it Among the Giants, so that would have not done me any good.
All right. Boom, 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 boom. Mr. Pullen, I believe it's your turn, correct?
Yes.
All right. Let me get back to the original. Actually, you know what? I'll just go ahead and switch it up.
Ooh.
Boom, boom, boom. Y'all, you have seen this art recently. Mr. Pullen, read the question, por favor.
Dark Sun.
In which Dark Sun module did your party come face to face with Hamanu, King of the World, Lord of the Heavens and Earth, and Lion of Uruk? So
where are the choices?
So I remember that we snuck in there, and then he was like, you gotta go and do a thing. And
I see your characters on the map. Y'all are hiding in the little his little secret office spying on
The Scorpion King is his emoji. That's his icon.
Absolutely. With glowing eyes. Someone else made the emoji, but they added glowing eyes to the Scorpion King. I was like, you know what? That works.
And I think my character went invisible scouting this whole area. Yeah.
We turned ourselves into the little Haroon bugs.
That's right.
See, we remember everything except the title.
I'm gonna pass
to Victor. Victor, do you remember the name of the big epic module in which this took place?
I do not.
Do you wish to pass to Mr. Rakoff?
I would like to pass.
All right.
It's not coming to me. I mean, I know it, but it's just not. It's not available for me right now to access.
Moose.
Pass.
Last chance, Mr. Kessler, before the question dies.
Sorry, I think I'm gonna have to pass.
Dragon's Crown. The epic final module of Dark Sun, which took us months to fucking clear. It was a massive module. Probably it's easily the longest module that we have ever run by far. Nothing else comes close. It just went on and on and on. You had to go all
It's
the way
because you only
across.
said the title at the beginning. That's why we didn't remember.
Yeah.
So just to give everybody a little wafwesha, Hang on. Here's the cover, which I shared with y'all a few times. Boom. Dragon's Crown.
Yep.
With that great art by Brom. Yeah. Yeah, Brom. That's one of the few campaign sessions or campaign settings where the art of one single artist has completely dominated the entire aesthetic and flavor and mood. And nobody can remember any of the writers on Dark Sun, but they all remember Brom's name because he was just that fucking cool. Alrighty, so let me go back to the original art and give everybody. Victor, are you ready for the final question of D&D round 2?
Yes.
Read the following question or statement for us, please.
One of these names does not belong. Shozo, Shaylin, Mallory, Gruldo, Hicks. I think it's Shaylin.
Sadly, you'd be wrong. It is Mallory. She's the only one that lived. Those other characters all died. That's your character.
I didn't know that was why.
Mallory survived. Even V temporarily died in the Ghost Tower of Inverness and then got her soul put back into her body when she got the white hair and the white armor. And same thing happened to Hudson. Because Hudson and V were brought back, I did not include them, but Shozo and Shaylin died in the very first module. Gruldo and Hicks both died in the Lost Caverns of Shozo.
That's right. Yeah.
All right.
That's one of those things where you have to not only know the answer, but you have to know what the question is. You have to figure out what ties all these characters together.
But I was remembering the number 9 question from White Plume Mountain when it says one of these golems does not belong, and they all have the numbers on their chest, and you have to guess that 9 is a prime number or not a prime number, and the rest of them are. I was like, you know what? I'm going to come up with a variation on that familiar thing. Victor, I did not remove a point, but that is sadly your first point lost. So you're now down to 7. Meaning you're only 2 points ahead of Dan. The plot thickens, which is the perfect mood to set as we return to the most important year in the history of the fantasy genre in film, 1982. Now, here's a chance for y'all to gain or lose a lot of points because I'm going to show you an image from a poster. I've got 10 posters prepared. We can do 2 rounds.
All right.
Based on the navels of what I show you, you're going to tell me, is it 1982 or not? And then for the bonus question, what is the title of the movie? Or you can pass. So all you have to, but 1982 has an epic fuck ton of great fantasy movies. So I'm just going to give you a brief little tease on the poster. You have to guess 82 or not. And once again, you don't have to guess the other year. You just got to say not 1982. And then bonus question, the title of the movie. Adam, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I froze for a minute on my end. I apologize.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did you... Is the category more or less familiar? Guess if the movie came from 1982 or not, and then the name of the movie?
Yes, I proceed.
Okay, proceed. Go on with the chlorophyll, as Adam Sandler famously said. So, Adam, first one is up to you. 1982 or not?
The Canon Group.
And I had to write all these down because I honestly can't remember. I've got them all written down in a big list. I got that off to the side. And we're going by U.S. release dates, not Japan, not Italy, not Germany. Germany, Japan, and Italy love these kinds of movies, but we're going by, just to keep it consistent, U.S. release dates for these movies.
I do not believe it's 1982.
You would be... Okay, hang on, let me check my list. You're correct.
The film, I had just like a handful of titles but I'm not 100% sure. When they're not done by Boris Vallejo, I'm not sure.
All right. Do you wish to pass to Mr.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Mr. Maston, do you wish to poach the point by naming this movie?
No, pass.
Kessler.
It's a canon film. I don't recognize the woolly mammoth. I'm gonna pass.
Dan Pullen.
Same. I can't think of any woolly mammoths, so I'm gonna pass.
Victor.
It's the Canon Group, so I'm gonna guess there was no woolly mammoth in the movie, even though
that tree on the right wasn't in there either.
I still don't know what it was.
Well, I barely remember this movie. I've seen it once. The Sword of the Barbarians. But it's a pretty macho looking poster. Check out that shit.
That's pretty good.
The battle between mortals, monsters, and magic for the greatest prize of them all. Yes.
That actually isn't even on my radar. Like, I never even knew it existed.
There's canon in a lot of movies, and not all of them are worth remembering.
Yeah. I was pretty sure that canon wasn't really in that space yet in 1982. I think that they always jump on the bandwagon a little later, like they see what works, and then they start, cashing in on it. So,
Moose, are you ready to test your expertise?
Give it to me.
1982 or not?
That's interesting.
Pass.
Pass on everything.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't want to even guess if it's 82 or not. 50-50 chance.
Oh, you get a point or a negative point. And I don't want to guess.
All right, going to pass both to Mr. Kessler.
Yeah.
Mr. Kessler, chance to get 2.
All right, I'm going to guess that it is, and that this is the Amazons.
It is 1982, but sadly, it is Sorceress by Jack Hill.
Okay, all right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen that.
Which has the dubious distinction of starring actual twins who get naked. It's pretty fucking cool if you're into 80s fantasy. It skirts the line. I had an amazing clip from this movie prepared where they see a satyr and they're wondering what kind of being he is, and they're topless swimming in water, but they're not revealed. It would have been YouTube friendly, but I got nailed for copyright because I think Arrow Video put Sorceress back out, and so they are they unleashed the hounds. Mr. Kessler, though, you get a chance to redeem yourself. Are you ready for the next choice?
Sure. Let's try it.
82 or no? I love the guy fighting the bear with his bare hands.
And another mammoth. Look at
another mammoth. If you look at all these posters from this era, they all steal from each other, and sometimes they'll steal like certain characters and ingredients. Like, wait a second, didn't that get drawn by somebody else like 20 years before, and they just keep reusing it? But that's they were shameless.
No, I don't recognize this one. I'm gonna have to pass.
Do you wish to guess the year, or not? 82 or not?
I'm tempted to say it's later, just because it looks kind of like it's ripping off Quest for Fire a little bit, and that might mean it comes later.
Or not?
I'm gonna pass. I'll let the next person.
All right, Dan, you got a chance to grab both.
I'm gonna say that it is not 82.
You would be correct. 83 in Italy, 84 in the U.S.
And I'm going to pass on the title.
Victor, would you wish to poach the title?
I have no idea, so no. Pass.
All right. And where did this question... It started with Martin, correct? Adam, do you wish to poach the title?
I don't really have a guess on this one, so I'm going to pass.
Moose, do you wish to poach the title?
Pass.
Thor the Conqueror. Or El Conquistador.
Okay. I don't recognize that. The other thing is some of these movies have several different posters.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
They all have different posters depending on the territory.
Right.
And they have different names depending on the territory. But this is Thor the Conqueror in the U.S. And it's not necessarily that good, but the poster obviously is worth a look.
Pretty bad.
So I believe that brings us to Dan. Are you ready?
I am ready.
1982 or no?
I got it.
Oh, okay. So this is
don't do title first. Got to go year first.
Right. So this is not 82.
You would be wrong.
Oh. Okay.
Do you wish to guess the title?
The title? Oh, jeez. Now I'm second guessing.
I've shaken your confidence.
Yeah. This is The Sword and the Sorceress.
Boom. Whoa, sorry, you're incorrect. Sword and the Sorcerer.
Yeah.
The expression on that snake is hilarious.
Yeah.
And
it's in the movie. It's in the final scene. So yeah, The Sword and the Sorcerer, one of Moose's favorite movies. He's got it playing on a loop in his office day and night. But here is the original poster, which I think is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good one. It's got the triple sword in it. Yeah.
All right, here I did not know this until I was doing my homework for this trivia game. It grossed 10 times its budget when it came out, making it the most successful independent film of 1982.
Ooh.
How about that?
Very nice.
People think of independent films as like, nerds on their sofas talking about their navels in black and white. Once upon a time, independent movies could be sword and sorcery.
It's a lusty epic of revenge and magic, Dungeons and Dragons, Wizards and Witches, Damsels and Desire, and a warrior caught between.
I mean, who can resist that? That's a hell of a pitch. All right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Mr. Rodriguez, are you ready to plumb the depths of your imagination for the next image?
I'm ready.
1982 or no?
What is that?
I don't know, so I will pass.
Gonna pass both.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Rakoff, chance for redemption. 2 points on the line.
I'm gonna say it's not 1982.
Let me just double check. Guys, got to make sure. Boom, 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 boom. You are correct. 83 in Italy, 84 in the U.S.
Okay, and then
Adam, you now have 6 points in the positive, but 2 in the negative.
I know.
I just watched this one.
It's a snake, so it's one of the many that maybe have serpent in the title.
Snakes and boobs are a recurring motif in the poster.
I love his bone chucks.
I don't have a confident answer for this one, so I'm not
wish to pass the title?
I'm gonna pass the title to
Mr. Moose. Do you remember the title to this film?
Not at all.
The Citizen Kane of 80s fantasy. Mr. Kessler, are you ready to answer it correctly?
It's Lucio Fulci's Conquest.
Boom, 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 boom.
Wow. That's a great poster.
Yeah.
Kessler, you are officially back at 0. You got
Yay.
5 positive and 5 negative.
0.
You've washed away all the sins of your misspent youth. But are y'all ready for one more round of 82 or no? I've got 5 more contenders that are begging for your attention. Yeah, I feel like it's when people start getting tired, sometimes it's easy just to guess 50-50 questions and then hope for the best. Boom, 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 boom. All right, Mr. Rakoff, are you ready to get this next round going?
Let's go.
All right, this should be an easy one in
Give
theory.
me a good one.
1982 or not?
Oh, so this is not.
Don't name the title. Don't name the title.
Not 1982 is my.
Not
first.
1982 would be correct. Yeah. It is actually 19.
Is it? Can I guess? Is it 87?
You're correct on that. I can't give you a bonus point because that's not one of the questions, but it did come out in 1982.
Wow.
So let me give you a point. You are now up to 7 correct, 2 incorrect. Do you remember the name of the movie?
Yes, it's Death Stalker 2, and sometimes it's referred to as the subtitle, like sometimes referred to Duel of the Titans. I think
that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you remember the name of the artist?
But not always. I think
you remember the name of the artist who did these amazing posters with Wendy Gabrielle.
That's, of course, the Vallejo cover.
He kind of gave her the Princess Leia Return of the Jedi bikini. It's blue, but it's like the same.
I just pre-ordered the new 4K release of double feature of this and the first one from Shout Factory. So,
well, Adam, you are now up to 8 positive and 2 negatives, so you're right in the mix. So hang in there. You never know what the future might bring.
You gave me one I actually really knew.
All right. Moose, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
1982.
I've seen the image before right there. I've seen that before, but
that bubble butt.
Yeah. And
no, the guy behind.
That's all. Those red eyes.
Do you wish to guess 82 or not?
No, I'm gonna pass.
You pass it all?
Yeah.
All right, Kessler, chance to reverse your fortune. 82 or not?
I'm gonna pass on this one. I don't
passing on everything.
Yeah.
Holy moly, Mr. Cullen. All right.
I was hoping someone would get this because it's on the tip of my tongue.
That's what she said.
Yeah. I'm also going to pass.
Passed everything.
Yeah.
All right, Victor.
I'm also going to pass. I know I've seen this poster before, but I don't remember the movie or the year.
All right, Adam, you're the last.
I don't think it's 82. I'll just say that.
You would be incorrect. It
Oh!
is.
Oh.
Do you wish to? You're the last person. Do you wish to guess the title?
No, I don't know the title. I just thought based on the
It's
style,
a curveball. It's a
What's the
second
word?
poster for Sorceress from 1982.
Oh.
Yeah, I bamboozled you with
The
a variant.
style looked
with a variant.
a little older, a little more later 80s to me. Didn't have
1982,
that
baby. Sorceress.
Yeah.
All right, so that would bring us to. Are we up to Kessler? Moose, did that one start with you? That one started with you, correct?
Yes.
All right, Kessler, are you ready?
Yeah.
I guess so. All right.
All right. You were born ready, especially when it comes to TNA.
Ooh.
I know this one.
Oh, there's so many ladies.
All right, 82
and the
or
line-
no? I'm sure YouTube's like, this all looks like nudity, but we can't quite figure out how to flag the video.
Yeah. Gosh, this looks so familiar. I'm gonna pass.
Pass everything?
Yeah.
All right, Dan Pullen.
All right, I'm going to go not 82.
You would be correct. It comes from 1985.
Is this the Amazon?
Actually, sorry, 1986.
Okay. Is this the Amazons?
It is indeed. Well done.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it. Third time I guessed it.
Boom. Amazon.
Eventually,
Well
it's
done.
right.
Yet another poster by the legendary Boris Vallejo, who I met at a bodega or kind of a cafeteria here in New York. I was having lunch with my mom, and I saw this very exotic-looking couple walking along, and I immediately recognized Julie Bell because she did fitness pictures in addition to her art. I was like, well, if that's Julie Bell, that's got to be Boris Vallejo. So I went up and introduced myself, and like an idiot, I just took their picture, but I didn't get in it. I'm sure I could have gotten my mom to take it. I was like, I just took a picture of him like a fucking goober. But anyway, so I got to meet Julie Bell and Boris Vallejo, but sadly did not get in on the picture.
I never noticed right in the left of the title it says Jeff Bezos presents.
All right. So next up, I believe it will be Dan. Your turn.
Yes.
Okay. Are you ready to feast your eyes on the glory of?
Wait, wasn't that Dan? Oh, no. Okay.
Because Dan poached it.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go not 82.
You would be correct.
And I don't know if this makes sense, but this doesn't look like the thing that I think it is. What's my score right now?
You are 9 in the positive, 2 in the negative.
This is Barbarian Queen.
Holy shit balls.
That's
God damn. Well done.
I actually knew that one. Told you if it's a Boris cover.
All right. So last question in our 82 or no. Mr. Rodriguez, are you ready to bring us in for a safe landing?
Yeah.
1982 or not.
Oh man. I thought I knew all the 80s fantasy movies. I have no
Studying
idea.
them carefully for decades for just this day.
Pass.
Pass everything.
Yeah. I have no
Adam,
idea.
chance to get on the scoreboard.
It's not 82.
It is definitely not 82.
And I think this is, I mentioned this earlier. I think it's Deathstalker 4 from 1991.
You would be 100% correct.
Wow.
Nice.
Boom. Adam, you're now 10 positive, 3 negative. So you're
Okay.
doing just fine. Okay, now let me just
Match of the Titans. I didn't say that, but that's okay.
let me just double check the score where we stand. We've been recording now for an hour 30. Dan, I've got you at 10 positive, 2 negative.
That sounds right.
Kessler, I've got you at 5 positive, 5 negative.
Yeah.
Moose, 3 positive, 3 negative. Victor, 8 positive, 1 negative. And Adam, 10 positive, 3 negative. Do I have the scores correct? Okay. One final round, because that's all I've got prepared to determine the winner once and for all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this final round, I just gave it a very ambiguous title, Let Chaos Reign, because it's just a grab bag. All my leftover questions where I couldn't find room for them in the other categories, like, you know what? I still got them, so I might as well use them. So it can be anything from the previous subject matter might rear its ugly head in this category. So everybody's going to get one question from Let Chaos Reign, and I can barely remember what they are, but this is the final round of Fantasy Trivia Apocalypse. So, Adam, are you ready to throw down?
Ready.
Okay, we're returning to name the next line, but it's not from a movie.
Oh,
it's from a game. What is the first line of dialogue in the game of Legend of Zelda?
It's like something like he gets the
it gets memed
sword,
a lot. I'm sorry. But people are always memeing it and changing it, and so it's very popular, very prevalent on X.
Oh, I mean, I should know this.
Just to pass the moose.
Yeah, I'm just blanking, but I know. I'm pretty sure it's when he gets his wooden sword.
Moose, do you wish to illuminate, Mr. Rakoff?
I'm going to pass to Martin.
Mr. Kessler. There's a movie on the way. These are vital stats to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to pass. I'm not sure what the line is.
Mr. Pullen.
Do I need both sentences?
Indeed.
Okay. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Good job, Dan.
Wow.
But I knew it happened. I just didn't remember the line.
Dan, you're up to 11 positive, 2 negative.
Oh,
well, that was a good poach.
I was going to guess you'll never be a legend, Zelda.
The princess is in another castle.
Yeah.
All right, Moose, potentially your last chance to get on the scoreboard, and all you have to tell me is what is the name of the Beauty in Purple?
My heart, I am Roleel, and these woods are my home. Oh, you've had a trying journey.
Now remember, the Beauty in Purple. What is the character's name?
I pass.
Kessler.
I've never watched it.
Oh my god. I remember some of the other characters' names, like Necron. But I'm blanking on her name. Sorry, pass.
Pullen.
The love
I
of
know
my
you've
life.
rubbed one out to this character.
Tigra.
Boom.
Oh, of course.
Well done. 12 positive,
He-Man name.
2 negative.
Thank you, Saint Bakshi.
That's Tila.
All right. Now, Mr. Kessler, I got to warn you in advance. This
All
is
right.
potentially scandalous. This might get my channel terminated from YouTube.
No.
This is a clip from possibly the most hardcore XXX adaptation of D&D ever conceived by a human being.
Oh boy.
And all you have to do is name the movie. Are you ready?
All right, let's try this.
Robbie!
Robbie!
Robbie! Robbie! Pardue! What are you doing? Going to join the Great Hall. You can't. It's a trap. I have spells. I'm going to fly. You don't have enough points. I am the maze controller. Maze controller? Yes. And I have absolute authority in this game. Game? Game. Game. TJ, what am I doing here? Kate, why can't I remember?
Friend you can turn to when cold winds blow.
All right, Mr. Kessler, don't disappoint us.
I believe that is the Oscar-worthy Mazes and Monsters.
Boom, 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 boom. Well done.
On top of the World Trade Center.
Holy moly.
Nice.
All righty. What do I got next? Boom, boom, boom. All right. So I got 2 more questions, and they're both name that module. Mr. Pullen, when you're ready, identify the following module.
All things roll here. Horrors of midnight, campaigns of a lost year, dungeons disturbed and groves of light echoing on these shores still clear. Dead ecstasies of questing night, yet how the wind revives us here.
I have absolutely no clue.
Do you wish to pass?
I will pass.
Victor, do you wish to poach the answer?
No, I will pass as well.
If it gets to Moose, he will definitely know. Mr. Rakoff, can you remember?
I have to pass to give it to Moose. I'm going to let Moose have a
Moose, enlighten everybody as to which module that comes from.
That sounds like White Plume Mountain.
Sadly, you would be incorrect. That actually comes from our very first module, the Sunless Citadel. When Dan hadn't even joined the campaign yet. When the module ended, Moose
he was at a disadvantage.
He was at a disadvantage, but Moose reached out and said, hey, Dan's interested in joining the campaign. I was like, fuck yeah, bring him on. And so Dan joined. So we ran the entire module. Then Dan showed up at the beginning of Forge of Fury.
Okay. Yeah, that was when after we fired our other player.
Exactly. Okay, so the very last question is going to go to Victor Rodriguez. Name that module. I'll go full screen down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That is White Plume Mountain.
You would be correct, sir. Well done. Let me get everybody back on here. Boom, boom, boom. White Plume Mountain it is. Victor, you got 1 more point on the scoreboard. And just since y'all have been such good boys, I've got some leftover clips. Here's a taste of is it 80s fantasy or porn that I was considering using.
Barbarians.
Yeah. That clip is for Mr. Kessler. And here's a little taste from the movie.
They were rogues.
Look at the size of you two.
Adventurers. Heroes. They were the barbarians.
Jack and Gore.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let me do the final tally, and y'all can check my math. Dan, I've got you with 12 correct, 2 wrong, giving you a combined total of 10.
Sure.
Martin, I've got you with 6 correct, 5 incorrect, giving you a grand total of 1.
Woo.
Moose, 3 correct, sadly 4 incorrect, giving you a -1, which makes you harder to hit if we're talking about AC.
That's right. You get the best
Victor,
AC.
We've got 9 correct, but 1 incorrect, giving you a grand total of 8. And Adam has a grand total of 10 correct, but 3 incorrect, giving him a 7. So Dan, whenever you're ready, you can dictate which campaign, which characters, and which mode of combat. I'm going to finally let y'all have a chance to fight each other. But once again, it'll be out of campaign. But you pick 5th, 1st, 2nd. Can't be Mjorkborg because Victor burned his character per the rules at the end of the campaign.
Right.
Or it could be Shadowrun. But we'll have a little combat scenario. It can be you against everybody, or you and everybody against one person you don't like. But you are, whether it's good news or bad news, you are the winner of this strange contest. Well,
all right, very cool. Thank you.
Round of applause for Dan Pullen.
Good job, Dan.
And that brings this little game to a close. We hope everybody enjoyed checking it out. There will be more trivia games in the future about horror or James Bond or Lord of the Rings or science fiction or a bunch of different subgenres and categories. But as a way of bringing things to a close, I want to go through everybody. If you wish to, plug your social media, whatever you're working on. Mr. Rakoff, the time or the floor is now yours.
All right.
And we can enjoy the shot of the crotches of the barbarians. Final conversation.
That's too distracting. Take it away.
Too much masculinity. Too much Herculean masculinity.
Adam Rackoff. I am on X at Adam Rackoff, and that is my one and only presence on social media. So find me there. And I'm not sure what else to say. So.
Very nice. Mr. Moose, do you have any audio fiction you'd like to plug or promote?
Well, first of all, Adam just said on X. Is that one thing we don't have to do Twitter/X anymore? People are familiar.
I just say X because it's one syllable instead of two. But if they want to, call it blah, fine. But yeah, X. It's been X for I think 3 years now, so I think I finally have crossed over.
Yeah, there was that point where I was like, it's not gonna stick. So I was like waiting for it to switch back, but clearly he's not.
Yeah, people still talk about tweets instead of posts, but yeah, I finally crossed over. It is now X.
Yeah.
I'm Moose Matson on X and on Facebook, and anywhere else you find Moose Matson, it's me. You can also check out my audio fiction, Savage Realms Monthly, the Dark Fantasy Sword and Sorcery publication. I do their audiobooks.
And I'll include a link to that down in the description below for anybody who wants to hear Moose. I mean, everybody got a taste of Moose's lovely narration in some of the clips this evening, but that was a couple of years ago. Moose has refined his craft in the interim.
Oh, I was way too lispy in these.
Gotcha. Mr. Kessler, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Movie Kessler, and X, whatever. And you can hear James, Adam, and I on new audio commentary for the Tragedy of Man Blu-ray by Deaf Crocodile, recently released. If you can get a copy, you can listen to us talk about the movie for 3 hours.
Or Mystery of the Third Planet and the Past, which came out. Very nice.
I also have a new article up on Film 89 where I talk about movie dinosaurs. And I've got some podcasts coming up from the Pink Smoke, so folks can find me on Twitter and usually just post whatever I'm up to.
What's your 25 words or less review for Jurassic World Rebirth?
Whatever.
Yeah. Two words, and you covered it. All right, Mr. Pullen, where can people find you?
I am at Dan Pullen Books on Twitter. You can listen to me on the Movies from Hell podcast. We cover exploitation, horror, and cult cinema from the mostly 70s and 80s. Right now, we're
any of the movies that we discussed tonight, have they come up on Movies from
Hell?
Hell?
Oh, yeah, we did a whole. We do these rip-off episodes, so like Exorcist rip-offs and things like that. We did a whole Conan rip-offs episode, so that's probably where I saw my point total going up in the identifying the cover art there. And yeah, we've got a free Patreon that you guys can join. And it's mostly Bradley. Bradley posts a bunch of cool stuff over there. Links to movies that are hard to find and whatnot.
Victor Rodriguez, last but certainly not least.
Oh, yeah. It's right. Victor Rodriguez, and I'm at Dime Store Caesar on X or Instagram. And my feeds are basically just thumbnail reviews from movies I see or, pictures of my cat, I guess. If you're interested in me in discussing any sort of management things with me, if you're watching this, just follow me on one of those things and slide into my DMs.
Slide into his DMs. You heard it here first. All righty. Well, we hope y'all enjoyed this change of pace on the channel. I've been itching to do this for months, and I finally gave myself a kick in the ass and prepared the clips. I had a good time doing it. I hope I can last with these guys into doing more weird trivia games down the road, as long as they weren't too traumatized by the experience. But also, let us know down below if you have any opinions on whether or not if any of my judgments were in error, or if you have any predictions for who might win this contest that Dan's going to get to put together with some of the stragglers from our old campaigns. We'll let you all know whenever we do that session. I'll pin a comment at the top the final results of that epic contest and how it all went down. But remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, hunt me down on social media at Colbrax. And yeah, and as Adam was sharing on those Blu-rays, The Past, Mystery of the Third Planet, and Tragedy of Man, those are Blu-rays that are out there now from Deaf Crocodile, where you can hear our commentary tracks. And we might have something cooking in the oven.
Yeah, and James, you and I also are on 3 films by Bill Plympton as well.
Indeed. Mutant Aliens, I Married a Strange Person, and The Toons. So, yeah, now we're up to, what, 6 movies total that we've done commentaries for?
Yes, because two on the same release.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Soviet animation has 2 titles. Yep.
Onwards and upwards.
Like
yeah.
you said,
Huge shout out to Dennis and Craig over Deaf Crocodile. They're doing the Lord's work with those amazing movies they're putting out. And they're very kind to ask us to contribute our thoughts to those releases. Well, cool. We hope y'all enjoyed the show. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, but more importantly, as always, onwards and upwards.
Ain't like it used to be, but it'll do.
You know how to whistle, don't you, Steve? You just put your lips together and blow.